Hello everyone. Just decided to do a video today um, on a topic I've been kind of thinking about. And before I get on the video, a little bit of a change this time. Uh, I'm about 8 months shy of retiring. I could retire tomorrow from the force if I wanted to, without any effect on my pension. So at this point in time, I'm kind of not really caring what uh, anybody who I work with happens to think if they view this, because I'm not going to be around there any long or for a whole lot longer. So today I'm going to change it up a little bit, and there we go. So hi everyone, get to see my face for the first time on YouTube. Um, anyway, the topic I wanted to talk about is one of how would I put it? Uh, Over a number of years, I've observed a number of so-called martial artists putting up training videos, either in the form of video home study black belt courses or YouTube home study courses. And unfortunately, even within the organization that I belong to, as far as martial arts go, there are a number of them out there that are putting on these video training courses. Now, the problem I have with those, and for someone who's never been in the martial arts or has limited experience in the martial arts, they're not going to see these things or these issues the way someone who is experienced is going to see them. Now, a little bit about myself. I have been training in the martial arts to one degree or another, or one type of martial art or another, for, well, since I was about 11 or 12 years old. I started out in judo. I then moved into taekwondo, and then ultimately further down the road, when I was in my, I think I was 20, 24, 25, I got into the Bujinkan Budo Taijutsu system. Um, and you know, it all started out for many of the same reasons that anyone gets in the martial arts. When I was young, I was not big, I was not strong, and I got picked on a lot in school, I'll be admitted. There were a lot of bullies in my school, and a lot of big ones, and they liked to pick on the smaller people. So that was one of the reasons why I initially got into the martial arts. Was more for self-protection, so I was able to learn how to stand up for myself and learn how to, you know, be a person in this world that doesn't have to be a victim. And it just kind of bloomed and blossomed from that. I found that I loved it, and I continued on with it, and I'm still actively training and teaching in the martial arts now. Now, the issue that I have with these Blackbelt Home Study Courses or online study courses, now don't get me wrong, they do have their benefit, but the benefit that they have is not for the beginner. For the beginner, I'm sorry, they have no benefit whatsoever, because a beginner in the martial arts needs to have an instructor watching them, instructing them personally and observing them so that they can pick out the inherent deficiencies in that person's posture, the way they move, the way they're performing techniques, the subtle nuances of the techniques. and be able to correct those on an ongoing basis. Simply, trying to learn something from a video, uh, I'm afraid you just can't get those subtle nuances, and you don't have somebody watching you do the techniques, making sure that you're doing them properly. And I know this because I've actually taught students, or I've had students come to me um, with background such as it is, from even the same organization that I personally train in, which is kind of disheartening in and to itself for me, um, with certifications actually from these people, saying they have a certain rank level in the system that I teach. And I'm sorry, hate to say this, Richard Van Donk, but your Black Belt Home Study course doesn't work. I've had a number of students come to me with rankings, and even one as high as San Q in the Bujinkan through your Black Belt Home Study course. And they may have some efficiency in kata, where they're not actually just regurgitating movements and not actually working with an opponent. But when it comes to actually working with a real person and somebody who's trying to hit you or trying to kick you or trying to hurt you, it just doesn't cut the mustard. You cannot teach somebody the subtleties of combat on a video. You can't. You have to be with that person. You have to be mentoring that person personally in order to get those things. And I'm not making this video because of greed or anything like that. Honestly, right now I only have one student, uh, and that's by choice because I started to get disheartened by the whole commercialization process of the Bujinkan. And I have one student. He's a personal student, and I do not charge him. I do not charge him for training. He, what I get out of it is that I get to have somebody to train with on a regular basis. So I get to enhance my own skills uh, through sharing those skills that I have with him and helping him to develop. So it's kind of a two-way street there. So I'm by no means doing it for free. There is an exchange there, but I'm not charging him money to do it because he's actually a co-worker of mine, and where I work, I have access to a training gym that's got matted floors, and I can work with him on a daily basis if need be. And it's good for him, it's good for me, and the whole process is progressing quite well. But back on the subject is that, I'm not saying this because I want to promote commercialization, or I want to make it so that people running dojos get more money. See, it's never been about the money for me. I've never made any money at this. When I ran a dojo of my own, I collected fees, yes, but that was because, one, I had to pay rent on the facility. And my wife kind of told me right off the bat that if you're going to run a dojo, rent is not going to come out of the family purse, which I completely understand. So, yes, I charged fees to be able to keep the dojo open, keep the lights on, keep the heat running, keep the equipment up to date. So those were the only reasons why I charged any money at all. Because if I could, if I was independently wealthy and could build a dojo and, uh, under my name and not have to pay rent or any overhead other than the costs of building it, and it wasn't anything that, put me out in any way. Um, Honestly, I wouldn't charge anybody that I felt was uh, appropriate to teach. And that's where it comes down to, really, for me. Um, when I was running the dojo, one of the reasons why I found it so difficult is because I'm the type of person that I'm very picky and choosy about who I teach. I would not just take anybody off the street to be a student, because if somebody that I'm teaching uses that knowledge inappropriately, for me, it's a stain on me. It makes me look like a bad teacher because this student went out and took what I taught them and used it inappropriately. So I'm very, very selective as to who I teach. There's a lengthy selection process, and like I said, I don't let in everybody, which is the way I think it should be. The martial arts is not for everybody, period. It was never intended to be for everybody. Just like the job that I do as a police officer is not meant for everybody. It takes a specific type of person and a specific type of personality to be a police officer, and it takes a specific type of person and a specific type of personality to be a martial artist. At least one that's not simply somebody who wants to learn how to fight. Learning how to fight is not what the martial arts is all about. The martial arts is learning how to be a better person through training and exposure to potential violent situations and how to deal with those situations. Uh, that having been said, I have trained people who have come to me with rankings in the Bujinkan through Blackbelt Home Study Courses. Simply out of, at the time, I guess it was out of respect for the teacher that issued those rankings, because at the time he was a higher rank than me, right? So who am I to say that these people didn't earn those ranks? But it was not until I started to train these people that I realized that these home study courses are not effective. They do not teach the martial arts appropriately. And I've found that of all the people that I've taught, from people with zero experience all the way up to people with black belts and other forms of martial arts, legitimate black belts, the people that I've trained that have had these rankings from home study courses and video courses have by far been the least skilled and the hardest to teach. The hardest to teach mainly because their bad habits are so ingrained by that point. Particularly when somebody's sitting at a brown belt level, their bad habits are so ingrained that it's going to take them 3 times as long to get to that level in reality, because they're basically going to have to relearn everything. And I simply will not take students with home study course rankings anymore because of that. It's too much work for me, and it's too much disappointment and heartache on their part. because once they realize that they've been ripped off by somebody who they thought was a legitimate instructor, um, they quite often don't stay with the training because they find, I think they find that it's easier for them to continue with the lie than it is to move ahead with real training, because it will take them so long. You know, I've trained students that have come off the street with no experience whatsoever, and within 2 years, they've earned a black belt, right? Which is pretty quick. But I mean, and not everybody gets it that quickly. But there have been students that have, you know, picked up on the martial arts very, very quickly because of, I don't know whether their physiology or just their mental state at the time. And some people takes longer. I mean, it took me 4 years of training to receive my Shodan, and probably another, you know, 14 years to get to where I am now, which is Yondan, which is only the fourth dan, and there's 15 degrees in this system. So it really depends on the person. It depends on you know, how motivated the person is, how often they attend classes on a regular basis. Ultimately, you get out of it what you put into it. I have spent in my martial arts career far more money than what I could really afford to get to where I am. And I tell you that truthfully. It's been an incredible strain on my finances because my teacher is an 8-hour drive from me, right? My teacher doesn't live in the city I live in. He lives in a different province. And for me to go out and train with him, I mean, I appreciate the discounts that he gives me because I'm willing to travel that distance to train with him. But it is still expensive, very expensive. But for me, and there's teachers that are higher ranked than him that live closer. But for me, he is my teacher. He is the one that gives me the most of all the people that I've trained with. So for that, I respect that, and I put myself out for that in order to get the best training that I think that I can receive from a person. So if somebody out there is trying to look for online training courses because you don't have a teacher in the town or city you live in, think about this, okay? You get out of it what you put into it. If you want to be an effective martial artist, you need to put in. You need to put in the time, you need to put in a lot of cases, the money to travel, to pay for lessons, so that you can get the kind of training that you deserve. If you only think that you deserve what you're going to receive off of YouTube for free, then fine. But I think that if a person really wants to pursue the martial arts in any kind of real capacity, you need to find a teacher that you can go to and train with in person. It doesn't have to be a big school. It doesn't have to be an expensive school. But it has to be someplace that you can go and have a skilled, experienced teacher deliver that knowledge to you from person to person and watch you train, watch you try and reproduce those skills and make sure that you're doing them properly and that your head is in the right place while you're doing them. because the martial arts can be and is a very dangerous pursuit for anyone to get into, because you're learning skills that were originally designed. I don't care what martial art it is. You're learning skills that were originally designed to kill somebody else. Martial art means the art of war. Martial means war. Budo, the way of war. So if you think that the martial arts are anything other than skills that you're learning to kill somebody else, then you need to take a reality check, because that's exactly what it is. And if anybody tells you anything differently, they are lying to you. Budo means the way of war. Bujutsu means the skills of war. Look at any war. Are they standing face to face calling each other bad names? No, they're standing each other face to face with guns and knives and swords, trying to kill each other. And that is what the martial arts is. So you need to take a real strong soul check before endeavoring in the martial arts. I respect anybody who does decide to and makes a good go of it. And for me, the martial arts has been an incredible ride. I've been in the martial arts for well over 20 years in total, and it's just been a fun ride. But like I said, you have to have your mind in the right place. If your mind is not in the right place, then I'm sorry, but the martial arts is not for you. You need to want to do it for the right reasons. Now, one of the reasons why I'm showing my face right now is to tell certain people out on YouTube that I'm not afraid of them. I'm sorry. The reason I wasn't showing my face before was purely to protect my career and my family. More my career than my family, because you know, I've been doing this long enough that I really don't fear any of these people. If they were to meet me on the street and challenge me, so what? Bring it on. You know, if that's the way you want to go and that's the way you want to handle things, so be it. You know, I'm not. I'm certainly not going to pursue conflict, because that's not the type of person that I am. But if somebody starts a conflict with me, I'm certainly not going to walk away from it. You know, it's the way of the warrior. You know, if somebody threatens you or brings conflict to you, you have to protect yourself. And that's what being a warrior is all about. It's not about seeking conflict. A warrior doesn't seek conflict. A warrior seeks peace. But he also doesn't walk away from conflict. If conflict is presented, you know, obviously diplomatic resolution is better than fighting, but if fighting is the only option, then so be it. I'm not going to, you know, run away, as it were. And in closing, what I'd like to do is simply say to the people out there that have the notion of joining some or getting involved in some online instruction course, I'd like to discourage you from doing that. Honestly, I would. Not because, again, like I say, I'm not getting anything out of it. Uh, and whether other dojos get anything out of it or not is really irrelevant to me. I'm saying this for you, people that are doing it. Okay? Do yourselves a favor and find a teacher that you can train with in person, because you're really not doing yourselves favors by trying to learn a martial art through a video or other kinds of media like YouTube. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. I know times are tough and times are hard and money is tight. I deal with that. I've dealt with that for the last 25 years when I've been in the martial arts. It's been hard for me too, but it is worth it. If the martial arts is truly the pursuit you want, that time and that expense and that sacrifice is worthwhile. And that's all I have to say. I hope I haven't sounded too deep here. And I hope the best for anybody out there that is planning on a pursuit in the martial arts, or any pursuit for that matter. Train hard, do your best, but get the proper instruction, because a bag full of rocks somebody gives you for free is still a bag full of rocks. What are you going to do with it? Right? If what you're being given is not effective, it doesn't matter whether it's free or not. It's still not effective. Get something that's effective. Get something that's going to help you to defend yourself when that time comes that somebody presents conflict to you, somebody who truly wants to hurt you. Do it for you. Do it for your family. Do it for your friends, your loved ones, whoever it is you have to do it for. But get the proper instruction. Thank you. Have a good day.